Hey, how's it going, everyone? New World Order Survival Guy here. Today, I want to talk about wildfires. Um, Obviously, there's wildfires going all across the United States, here and there. There's at least 35 major wildfires in the United States right now. Um, a handful of them are here in Colorado, and it's spreading rapidly. A very dangerous situation. Um, Near where I live in the Western Slope, there's a big fire in Meeker. Those of you that know where that is, and it's spreading to the neighboring county to where I live. I'm no stranger to fires in general. I did fight many of fires in LA County vicinity back in the 90s. But referencing to here, I'm just a regular civilian. And we had, a few years back, we had a real bad fire that came up onto the Book Cliffs outside of Grand Junction area. It was pretty crazy. But today I want to talk about how to survive, what techniques you could do as a regular person to avoid getting yourself killed. First and foremost, this could be a survival situation, or shit hits the fan. When shit hits the fan, you're probably going to see a lot more fires than you do these days, despite the abundance of fires that you do see and hear about. Fires can be started many different ways. There is lightning strikes, which a lot of these fires, most of these fires, that's the assumption or claim that's how it's started. And a lot of those claims is bullshit. You get into, there's arson, and arson could be many different meanings behind that. It could be some idiot that intentionally started fires, which that does happen. But arson can also be from NGO organizations or government organizations that use improvised mechanisms to start fires, like it's been proven, such as Paradise, California, Hawaii, and many other places. A lot of fires are created by lasers from up above, whether it's aircraft or some sort of satellite device or something like that. There's fires that are intentionally created by supposed people that you trust, or in perspective of the people that you trust via other organizations. So anyways, we may or may not get into that in a little bit. I'm going to not make this too long. But we're talking about survival here. You're out camping, you're out hiking, you're out trekking, or you're bugging out or whatever. You see smoke. Smart thing is, is headed another direction. But sometimes you get caught up in something unexpectedly. So here's some pointers of how to save your own life as well as people in your conjugation. First and foremost, do not go up top of any hill or mountain if all possible. You want to stay in the lower valleys. Obviously, heat, fire rises. And I'm telling you, from experience on fighting fires, it'll go up a hill and mountain real quick. I've been caught in some situations like that in my firefighting days, and it ain't not nice. You want to stay in the lower valleys. Not just for the fire, but the smoke. You're in the lower valleys. Yes, smoke can be trapped in those lower valleys, but you'd rather be down than up. And most importantly, you got to stay calm. Stay cool, calm, and collected, because being stressed, being freaking out, it is not going to do you any justice. Your survival rate will be way up here tenfold if you just have a calm persona about you. Otherwise, you're going to make bad decisions, and those bad decisions can ultimately cost you your life. Stay away from a heavy wooded area, especially up in the mountains and forests and stuff where there's lots of pine trees and aspen trees and stuff like that, where they consist of a lot of sap, which is pretty flammable. You want to steer clear of that stuff. You want to go to a meadow, or better yet, a cleared path. That is the direction. Now, a key thing to this is don't go downwind, or in some aspects you could say upwind. Depends where you're at. But the wind's blowing this way. You got to be careful. You're not going to want to go into it. You want to go away from it, especially if it's downhill, because fire's not going to travel as quickly downhill as it is uphill. I mean, boom. I've been caught in situations where I had minutes to make a decision, and even that was too late. And we got caught in a fire coming uphill, and we had to break out our fire shelters. We had to get a clearing, clear out some more brush, hurry up. I mean, instantly. Fire shelters, duck and cover. It was hot, it was miserable, but we lived, and without any significant injuries or anything like that. Everything was minor. The best thing to do, if possible, is a water source. There's a lake, there's a river. Jump in it. Jump in it. It's not going to boil that water. You got to think. You're talking about heat, flames, burning up forests. You're hundreds of feet away. You're going to feel that heat. It's going to feel like hell. So you definitely want to steer clear, especially when you're like surrounded, even um, 3/4 of the way, or I mean, you're gonna feel like you're in an oven, far away, because there's so much heat, and especially if that wind's blowing towards you, it's excruciating. Remember wind direction. That is going to be a big tool for you that you can use to your advantage, or if you're not thinking properly, it will be your disadvantage and your demise. Smoke is definitely serious, no doubt about that. You can do a few things if you're not prepared for a fire. You get a handkerchief, you can get a hat, something, soak it in water. Use it as some sort of breathing apparatus as far as filtering that smoke. Everybody knows when it rains, it filters a lot of the crap in the air, and also smoke to some extent. It's going to absorb that smoke. Not fully. I'm not saying it's going to be a perfect, like a respirator or something like that, because it's not. But if that's all you have, do it. Spare a little water from your canteen. Put it on bandana, something. Put it around your face. It'll help. It'll be the best thing you could do at the moment. So wet cloth on your face. You could use a sock. You could use whatever. If you can, if possible, if you have the means, find an open area. You don't want any big trees. Period. Absolutely not. Because it can burn them trees so quick, especially with the intense heat. Burns them trees. There's widowmakers everywhere. If not big trunks, it's going to be all, there's huge branches on, just like the fake trees behind me. It could fall. It could easily injure or kill you in a heartbeat. Be extremely careful, extremely cautious of wherever you go. Even like in this picture, you got a river, a stream. That's not necessarily safe. I mean, you have to do it if you have to do it. But these trees right here, they go burning. Things are going to start collapsing and falling. It could easily strike you right there. So find the clearest area that you can to help yourself out there. Mud, wipe on your skin, bury yourself in it, depending on the severity at the moment. That could save your skin, it could save your ass. Remember that. Mud is a blessing in a situation like that. These fires, man, it's crazy. Like over here, they have the fire in Meeker, Colorado. It's burning 8,000 acres a day. It's a hilly terrain and stuff like that, but man, it's burning and it's coming into other counties. So this is very important, man. Always, it doesn't take a whole lot of studying, but just know and have a game plan in case something like this happens in your area. I mean, like I was telling you earlier about government and non-GO agencies starting fires, man. I mean, the DEW's direct energy weapons, they absolutely use these. There's tons of videos of seeing the lasers coming down, home videos, and destroying houses in a forest area and destroying nothing but the houses and vehicles and stuff like that. I'm talking about solid brick, stone houses melting to the ground. And their houses are completely engulfed in trees, and a lot of them, mostly them trees, hasn't even been scathed. They've been completely unscathed. Intentional, for whatever the reason. I mean, these fires go on in Canada. We look at a huge fire. Many fires in Canada that just destroyed so many thousands of lives. So it's something that everybody has to take in consideration. Just like anything in survival, that's why I like to bring out the points of different aspects of survival. And fires is one of them. Like all these ones in Paradise, California, Hawaii, and all these other ones. You know, those were in neighborhoods. What the hell is there to burn in in Hawaii? They made it burn. And apparently these direct energy weapons do not burn blue. So if you watch videos, if you look it up, you see people in Hawaii that got a whiff of that, and they have cans of blue paint and they start slopping over the roof and stuff like that. You'll have like 100 cars in a parking lot that's burnt, melted, just completely disintegrated, except for the blue cars. Has to do with the lasers. Look it up. Very interesting stuff. Blue houses, blue cars. There's park benches that were blue that were unscathed, but there would be a different color over here that are completely burnt. So, moving on. One of the smartest things you can do is shelter in place if you are being swarmed by a nasty fire situation. If possible, shelter in place. Take precautions. Bury yourself in dirt, away from vegetation, mud, water, most important if you can. If not, get the hell out. Get away from the downwind of it. If you are in a prone area that has fires or a possibility to have fires, you can get a fire shelter. It's the size of one of the Mylar bag packets. It's just made out of fiberglass type material. I've used them. I've used them twice in a fire situation. It saved my life and a couple of my colleagues' life. So they do work. You just want to get away from heavy fuel, which are big branches, trees, and stuff like that. Get into a clearing. It might be some brush. That's what we're in. We got dropped off in a helicopter, mid-mountain, little knoll right there. And we were fighting fires, man. And we're making fire line, scratch line. We're done. We're going to go up over the ridge. And the fire just... We had no choice. So, shelter, and it saved us. So, it's, like I say, if you're in a prone area to that stuff, it is wise to have a fire shelter. They can run from, like, you can get $5 ones, but legitimate ones, you get them as $20 all the way up to $100 or more, like them cocoon type sleeping bag things, and you know, any of those will work. A $20 one will absolutely work. It's smart to have some burn cream in your survival medical kit or your trauma kit. It's always smart to have that, because it's not just the immediate fire. The fire don't even got to touch you before it can burn your skin off your bones. It doesn't even have to touch you. Just some people don't get the extent of what heat is when you got 100, 200-foot flames around you, and that you're just in this inferno. It is terrible. So, take these things in consideration from word of the wise. It is not a pleasant thing. I mean, obviously, you know, it's something like a no shit comment, but you just got to get away and make cool, rational decisions. Obviously, it's a thing, because it's just every year, you know, like California. It was like, damn, man, I'm surprised they even got any freaking trees left. I'm surprised they got anything left in California. There's always burning thousands and thousands and thousands of acres. Millions of acres. So, take precautions for this. Take precautions. I mean, your life really depends on it. It's always to prepare and have a plan for everything, and a fire is no exception. Even if you're bugging in, it's not as crucial. I know people don't want to lose their house. I know people don't want to lose their belongings and stuff like that. But you have to know when to go. And when there's fishy business that only targets houses in neighborhoods, so the rich or selected can get and acquire the property after it's been destroyed, so they can use it for their own greedy purposes. Like Hawaii, what? Like Oprah Winfrey and all these other famous people bought the property for pennies on the dollar and stuff like that. And, you know, I mean, it's just sickening, and it's realistic shit. So, stay safe. Stay safe. Stay prepared. And this is just another freaking aspect on the list of what you need to be prepared for and prep for. Because, I mean, if you can have a crazy ass fire that just killed tons of people in Hawaii, then everybody else is in jeopardy too. I can't see really Kansas being in any kind of jeopardy of that, but you gotta think, a tropical setting like Hawaii, I mean, it rains all the time there, you know, it's you know, there's not dry pine trees and stuff over there. So, something to think about, especially if you live in certain areas. Me, Colorado, Western Colorado, tons of trees, very dangerous. So, that's it. Please like, share, subscribe. Drop comments below if you have any ideas or anything to comment about the subject. I'd like to hear it. I'm sure a lot of other listeners would like to hear it too. Talk amongst yourselves. Ask me questions. Whatever. New World Order Survival Guy. Thank you for joining me. Catch you on the next one.